Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Darksaid Walker, and today we're going to be doing the Thanatos theme run. But Darksaid, shouldn't you have done that on Monday? Well, as you can tell, I'm a little behind on my work, and to preemptively answer the question of why I didn't do it over the last couple of days, been busy. It's been a very interesting couple of days, I will say that much, but beyond any of that, we are here with the Thanatos run today, so let's quick go over it. Not surprisingly, we're going with the Chaos Reaper. Makes sense. Thanatos loves to teleport, so we are going with the Chaotic Rift, not only because it's effective, but because it's just one of the best ways of getting around the battlefield. Absolute finale, Thanatos is a person that, although doesn't really engage in actual melee, which is a little bit of a difference in the way that I'm doing things, I figured the best way to emulate the way that he marks an enemy for doom and then just erases them would be with Absolute Finale. And then his big area of effect that he likes to drop down on the battlefield every now and again, I will mark that with Shock Nova, mostly because it's a nice effective area of effect that basically says, hey, get off me. And we're using the Chaos Reaper with the Chrono Glove because even though Thanatos isn't what one would call big on melee combat, he has the Scythe for a reason, and considering that he does hold the title of Death Incarnate, I figured that wasn't just for show, so we're using the Chrono Glove as another means of just another quick kind of get-off-me option that has a nice area of effect. Alright. And you know what I would like to do? I would like to not have Atlas be a problem right off, like in round 3, so let's just take care of him right away. Everything else will fall into place. Right, so Thanatos, what makes him different from Castlevania's Death? Well, for one, he's very much a neutral, as close to a neutral entity as one gets in Hades. In Hades, everyone has their own ideas, their own perspectives on things. Like, they're actually like fully fleshed out characters. So even though Thanatos is as neutral as one could possibly be, considering everything, you also have to accept the idea that he and Zagreus do have a history. Not necessarily a bad history, they're just trying to kind of understand what they are to each other. But also keep in mind that for the most part, Thanatos is a very, I'm not going to say necessarily business-minded, but he pays a lot of attention to his job and thinks that it's good for others to do the same. So at first he's very unsure of why Zagreus is so focused on trying to escape from the House of Hades. And without wishing to spoil, let's just say there is an understanding that is reached later on. And the reason why I don't necessarily want to spoil too much is because, honestly, just go play Hades. It's not that I can't explain it, I just really think you should go play Hades. Oh, what do we have here? Increases all damage slightly. Alright, that's a maybe. Probably not going to be able to make very good use of Idealist scorecard, but again, there it is. I don't have anything that works with air damage. Guten Tag, Herr Doctor. Alright, so I might be able to just bring her a random Arcana. Like, there's nothing I'm going to be able to upgrade, so just buying a random Arcana to give to Dr. Song seems like the best idea. Another big difference between Death and Thanatos is that Thanatos doesn't necessarily revel in the destruction of others. For him, it's just a job. Okay, so I like the idea of prickly ballet just to keep enemies off my back, but at the same time I think there are better ways of doing it. Maybe frozen bait would actually work out nicely, but let's go ahead and give Dr. Song... Actually, let's wait on that. Let's wait and see if I end up having a situation where I need the healing. Which I will know after this. Alright, so I didn't, but there you go. Definitely take sturdy wooden easel. I love a good defensive relic. Alright, then yeah, we will give you fadeaway rhythm. Critical placebos. Ooh. Well, now it's looking like I do want the prickly ballet. I was thinking frozen bait for a little bit, but no, now I'm thinking, ooh, prickly ballet or arc sphere. Both so good, and arc sphere starts. God. Which one do I take? I am so, spoiled for choice right now. It's not even fair. I think I'll go with the area denial. And no, I'm not interested in the Chaos Scanner. Can't even afford it anyway. It's alright, I ended up leaving with something better in the form of sturdy wooden easel, so oh well. So the other reason why I took the Chrono Glove, even though I know that Thanatos himself isn't exactly called on the board of melee, is because it just allows me to have another good option to use for when... Basically, it allows me to have a decent option, one that I can actually use. One that I can use regularly, because you'll notice when I did the death run, I was having a hard time using the scythe reliably. What do we have here? I'm actually not against the idea of taking Frost Fan, as that is another good control method. But I'm going to wait and see what... You know what? No. Take the portal, be a smart person. I'm going to wait and see what Anders has for sale first. There we go. Alright, critical placebo's doing its job, so it's harder to tell when something is actually a critical hit or not, because the description of the item makes it so that you can't really tell what is and isn't a critical hit. No thanks. But even with all that having been said, it does allow... Okay, what do we have here? Paralytic Venom Stone is great, and so is the Surefire Rocket. Once again, spoiled for choice. I'll take the Surefire Rocket, though. That's going to make it so that signature spells come out more readily and efficiently, because the meter no longer decays over time. Only actually decay... I should've... It'll only actually decay after it's already been all the way filled. Now, those of you who have been playing the game for a while, or have been watching my channel pretty regularly, already know these things, so why am I describing it again? Because I can't assume that everyone watching the channel already knows these things. People who are new to the game or new to the channel probably don't understand exactly what's going on with the items that I'm picking up. So, I don't think it hurts to be able to describe it to both newcomers as a means of education, and I was gonna grab Frost Fan. That's right. So, like I was saying, it's not a bad idea to describe it to newcomers, not only as a means of educate. Thanks, controller. That was perfect. That's exactly how I wanted to aim that. Mystic Monopole? I don't even know what that does, but I know I don't want it. No, I don't want to lower the knockback. There's very little knockback on my Arcana anyway, so that's a waste. So you can have that. And even though I like Paralytic Venom Stone, Frost Fan seems like it'll be the better option. Yeah, I can't assume that everyone watching is going to inherently know everything that's going on, so I don't think it's bad to have a little bit of a reminder in the form of just making sure that things are explained. Why was I not being allowed to teleport away from the tree? Oh, beautiful. So it took a bit of a beating there because the game decided that you can't teleport through trees for God knows whatever reason. But ultimately, I think that was still a good fight. Anyways, to finally finish what I was saying, for newcomers, it's informative. For people who have played the game before, it's a nice reminder of what something does. Okay, we'll be back for that. And, by the way, as for the justification for the Prickly Ballet and the Frost Fan, this is an incarnation of death we're talking about. I have no doubt that he can use ice or cactuses if he wanted to eliminate someone. Even though he would probably rather... the process be smooth and more or less painless. Again, he's got the scythe for a reason. Let's not pretend like he's never had to use it. As for the type of character that Thanatos is, well, that really kind of... it doesn't even depend, it's just... he's a very interesting character study, because... Alright, so let's just be fair about this. The characters in Greek mythology were all very interesting characters in their own way, in that they weren't just... Because they weren't all just aloof blowhards. They all had their own personal wants, desires, personalities. Like, Greek mythology was a wellspring of character. Why are you still alive? So what Thanatos comes off as being at first is a very business-oriented sort of let's just get the job done sort of character. when you get deeper into who he is and the things that he cares about, he's more so just a family person. You know how that goes. Hey, when you're here, you're family. Definitely take some protection. As more often than not, like, because you'll see him at one point in this, so minor spoilers, but you'll see him at one point in the game berating Hypnos for his lack of caring about his own job. And it's not that Hypnos doesn't care, it's just that he's got a different mindset. So when presented with this idea, instead of like continuing to berate him for it, what he does is essentially finds a way to suggest to Hypnos that there's another way to get things done that'll help him stay on top of things. And there you go. So what he's doing is he's looking out for family. I already said it once, but just because the idea was brought up. Hey, when you're here, family. And for what it's worth, Thanatos also seems like he's, I'm not even going to say bi-curious, I'm pretty sure he's bisexual. Which, yeah, that's not exactly super important to his character, but it is very interesting to note that they actually designed him to be that way, as he can have Zagreus can actually romance Thanatos. And it's just kind of it's a very interesting idea that I wasn't expecting them to go with. I don't know, there's a lot of really interesting ideas that were used in Hades. And the idea that Thanatos becomes more supportive as time goes on. Again, it feeds into this whole thing of just because he's in the business of death doesn't mean he's like super aloof and uncaring. Matter of fact, I would say just the opposite seems to be the case. He's just really, like, one of the things that they say in the game, and again, minor spoilers if you haven't played it, I apologize if you're in this camp, but they bring up the idea that there is a war going on the surface, and that must mean that Thanatos has been busy as heck lately. Why did you censor yourself, Darkseid? You don't have a problem with saying hell. I guess it was more so just for emphasis. And so I could make a joke about it. What do we have here? So, Glove of Patience and Chrono Glove are a very good synergy, and I like the idea of it, but here's my thing. I already came into this with the idea of I don't necessarily need that synergy. What I need is the speed, because I'm actually using the sight as another control method. You'll notice just about all of the Arcana that I'm using are more so about control than anything else. So right now I'm less focused on just raw damage as I am on controlling the battle. I mean, there's no question, I gotta go with Dice of Nemesis. Two teleports is faster than having to walk all the way back. Smooth. And yes, I'm aware that Hunter's Stiletto would work out nicely as well, but again, I want to wait before I pick that up. Mostly because I want to see what else is available. So that should give me an idea of how much health that guy has. Here's Iris. Is there anything here that I really want? Honestly, I think I'm okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and pick up the Hunter's Stiletto. Work throughout much of the run. Won't work against Sura, of course, but that's because Sura is an enormous douchebag. Honestly, even though I'm not saying much about Thanatos himself, the idea is there's a lot that could be discussed about Thanatos. He's a very interesting character. He's not necessarily my favorite character in Hades, but he's a very good character. At first, I just wrote him off as, I am aloof asshole, look at me with my very aloof asshole haircut, and then you learn more about him, it's like, oh, okay, he's just got a lot on his mind, and as soon as things are allowed to calm down, you see more of his true colors. He's actually a very interesting and, warmer individual than one would give him credit for. I mean, he's still cold, don't get me wrong. It's just the nature of being the incarnation of death, I suppose. There we go. Dice of the Nemesis killing it. I'll take it for fun, but I'm really not planning on using it. I wouldn't even call him, like, strictly business-minded. He's just a dude with a lot on his mind who's trying to do his job well. At least that's the feeling I got from him. I mean, other people may have their own interpretations on it, and that's fine because Supergiant Games crafted a game and a story that allows us to come to our own interpretations. It's very different from, say, oh, I don't know, just as a quick example, The Last of Us 2, and I will take this. Oh, I don't have enough money. Well, I feel silly now. Where you're not really welcome to come to your own interpretations. Everything is essentially doled out for you. They're basically telling you, here's what's right, here's what's wrong, and there is no gray area at all. Even though the entire idea behind The Last of Us is that sometimes what's right to one person is always what one would expect, and the gray area is pretty much all that there is supposed to be. In The Last of Us 2, they're beating you over the head with a political message that I think is really unbecoming of a game like The Last of Us. It's strange that I started this as a run to, celebrate and really enjoy the game Hades, and it suddenly turned into me ranting about why I'm not a fan of what they did with the story of The Last of Us 2. Pardon me. There we go. There we go. Wind summoners. Why did it have to be wind summoners? Oh, you're Indiana Jones now. Might be. But when you take a game and a masterfully crafted story that's more so about, it's not really about anything other than loss and trying to rebuild, which is juxtaposed with society trying to rebuild. And you suddenly turn it into these people are good, these people are bad, and there is no gray area in between. Well, what the hell? And also, it doesn't feel right that absolutely every character in the game is a piece of shit. Like, seriously, everyone, for some reason or another, it is just a shitty human being. And in case you're thinking I'm about to go on about how Joel didn't deserve what he got, that's not what I was. That's not even what I was going to say. Like, I was fully expecting Joel to die in The Last of Us 2, but maybe not in such a shitty, unceremonious fashion that has nothing to do with, you know, his character. And that's what they essentially did, is they boiled Joel down to he's evil white man. And I don't think that's what any of us were I mean, far be it to say that anyone was expecting that, but it certainly wasn't, you know, a good idea. Because Joel boiled down to more than just, he's just evil white man, because you see in flashbacks, he's supportive of Ellie, like, because, I mean, here's another thing, if he was just, you know, the evil white man stereotype, he would probably have an issue with the idea that she's a lesbian, but he doesn't have a problem with that at all. He's supportive of her going after a girl that she likes, even if that girl is a piece of shit human being. Which, I mean, there's no way for him to know that. There we go. I wanted to clear those out, now wait for Frostfan to recharge. Let's get in there. There we go. And nice little shocking aura of death. Oops. So, Sturdy Wooden Easel can guard the damage from that, but it'll just put you back in the same spot until you eventually fall and take the damage. So, you know, just a little coding trick I would do, but just make it so that Sturdy Wooden Easel can't negate the fall damage. It can negate any other damage except for fall damage, is what I would say. And no, I'm not very good at coding, so I don't know how to do that. I leave that up to the professionals who know more about that than I do. I'm not against the idea of learning how to code, though. I was trying to make a mod for Binding of Isaac, but it just turns out I'm just not very good at that sort of thing. But it doesn't mean I'm not willing to learn. I would love to learn. Okay, you can have this token of elegance, thank you, sir. Alright, so now I just need to find Anders. And Iris might have something of use, but couldn't tell you. The only way to know for certain is to go find her. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking about The Last of Us 2 right now. I mean, it's not like that's the only game that's come out recently that I've had a problem with. There's also Cyberpunk 2077. Oh, here we go. I'm once again not going to jump on a soapbox about that game. I've already said pretty much everything I've had to say. At least I think I have. But it's very clear that they were lying to everyone involved that that game was clearly not ready for market. And I've already said why I think that that decision was made. So again, I don't have anything beyond that. I guess take it for what it's worth. Alright, let's not rely on Dice of the Nemesis to try to nail damage down. Let's... Son of a bitch. Yep, that hurt. Alright, so maybe it would have been a better idea to stick with Prickly Ballet, but oh well, what do I know? I'm done. There we go. Alright, looking good. And yeah, I hate Burst Mage. I hate him a lot. Alright, so let's buy that. Get myself a Fairy Companion. Because it wouldn't be one of my runs if I didn't end it with a Fairy Companion. Alright, let's try not to be stupid this time. I said let's try not to be stupid this time. Alright, have to play it really careful, because apparently Apparently I'm really good at making dumb mistakes. Like that. And of course he went completely to the other side of the arena, so back to dodging. Ah, curse me. There we go. Okay. Ran into some trouble there because of the burst mage, but otherwise not a bad run. So much damage taken. That sucks so bad. Alright, well there you go. That is Thanatos. He's one of the he's one of the characters I found myself really liking. Because I said in the beginning he seems really aloof and like he just doesn't care. And then towards the end you're going, oh, alright, I see what he's all about now. So I'm really all for Thanatos. I'm also all for seeing, you know, representation for potential gay and bisexual characters, so long as it isn't ham-fistedly thrown in your face. But topic for another time. I said I would be done with it. So that's the run. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, subscribe, comment, do the usual YouTube song and dance. Hit me up on my social media, links to which will be in the description below. And I'll catch you guys next time. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you.